to to answer their question. But one of the questions that they ask is they say, well, where do you need this math, this mental math? I would almost say, where don't you need the mental math? I believe that if you're in the um, accounting, you're in the business environment, you're always making calculations. And if you can make these calculations in your head, I believe it'll put you at an advantage. If you can forecast something maybe quicker than someone else, I think that's very impressive. I think that puts you a step ahead. I also think I also think that this being the very beginning stages of teaching children how to do things in their head that typically would be, you would think that you would need a calculator. I believe that's laying the groundwork for giving children the opportunity to use their minds in ways that we just typically don't do it. And so I guess this is sort of the beginning of something greater. What would that greater thing be? I guess I'm not exactly sure. But all I do know is that we're teaching children how to do things that otherwise they would not have been able to do. And anytime you do that, anytime you distinguish a child, anytime you can teach them to do something that 99% of the people in the world can't do, I believe that's a very, very good thing. I believe that's a very, very good thing. All right, so enough said on that. Enough said on that. And and another thing, I want to make this very clear, that the strategies that I'm teaching are not, I'm not teaching these to discount other traditional techniques that we've learned in the past. I am not doing that. I'm not advocating that we push aside the traditional techniques that we've taught our children. All I'm saying is, in addition to that, let's pick up some other things and use this idea of mastery level understanding that we've talked about in the past. All right, so today's topic, mental math with addition. Let's jump into it. All right, so let's say we have 200, I'm making these numbers up, 294 plus 657. Let's try 182. 182. And let's add all of these numbers up, 473. All right, so let's add all these numbers up. What I'll do for this particular problem is I will write down the three numbers that that I would like you to think about. And for the next couple problems after this one, what I'll try to do is just try to do it in our heads. This strategy of adding these three numbers we've talked about. If you look on my Facebook page, Students Dominate Math, you'll see this strategy laid out in somewhat more detail than what we'll probably do today. All right, so let's write down the three numbers. You add up these three numbers, you get 13. The way I do it is I add up to 6 and 4, which is 10, and then the 2 and the 1 is 3. You can get 13 very easily. So we write down the number 13. I'm writing it on a paper, but you can also write it in your mind. Your mind is powerful. So I would write the number 13 on my mind, in my mind. All right, I'd remember the number 13. Then I'd add the second column. I'd add these numbers up. You get 15. Added to that number, you get 20. And then add the 9, you get 29. So 13, 29. All right, I'd remember those numbers, 13, 29. And for this particular problem, I'm writing the numbers down, but typically, what I've been trying to encourage students to do is remember these numbers in their head. So you got number 13, 29, and then you add up this column. All right, so you get 9 plus 7 is 16. All right, so 13, 29, 16. 13, 29, 16. So what we would do here is add these numbers up in a way that's different than what students are typically taught. you get 159, 159, but the 9 would change. We said add these numbers up, add these numbers up. So again, you get 1, 5, you bring this 9 down, but I'm writing it light because that's going to change based on this number. So you get 1, 6, you add to the 5, 9, you're adding 1, you get 1606, and all of that would be done in your head. So you get 1606, you do all of that in your head, and that would be the sum of all these numbers. All right, that would be the sum of all these numbers. Let's attempt to put this in a calculator. Got that glare again. Let's get rid of that. So we get 294 plus 657 plus 182 plus 473. And you get 1,606. 1,606. All right, but the goal for us tonight, the goal for our children, the goal for our students is to do all of this in their head. 642 plus 793, just making it up, plus 524 plus 391. Let's add all of these up in our head. And then what we'll do is we'll check it with a calculator. All right, so let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. All right, so this first column, you get 12. This is just the way I would add it. You get 12 plus 6 is 18, plus 3 is 21. So the first number is 21. I'm going to try to remember 21 in my head. All right, then we get 18 plus 2 is 20, plus 4 is 24. So we get 21, 24. 21, 24. All right, and while I remember 21, 24, I'm going to add up this column here. So we got 21, 24, we get 5, 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8, and 10. 21, 24, 10. 21, 24, 10. So we get 2, 5, 21, 21, 24, 10. Let's try it again. 21, so we get 2, 3, 5, 0, I believe. 21, 24, 10. All right, so 21, 24, 10. So you get the 2 plus 1 is 3, the 4 plus 1 is 5, and you bring down the 2, you bring down the 0. So that is correct. Well, let's put it in the calculator. Let's put it in the calculator just to check it. Just to check it. So we get 642 plus 793 plus 524 plus 391. And you get 2,350. That's correct. All right, 2,350. All right, but everything was done in maybe in the fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade. You teach this to them now. I'm just learning this stuff just this summer. But if you teach this to the children when they're young, they will be able to do things that, man, they're just, there's no telling what they'll be able to do. So I'm just talking about, in addition, after we teach the traditional techniques, we say, okay, now let's try to do this in your mind. Don't tell them that it's hard. Don't tell them that it's difficult. Don't even tell them that you're just learning it yourself. Just say, sit down and learn this. And I believe they'll learn it. And I believe some of them will find it simple. Because all we're doing is asking them to concentrate. All we're doing is asking them to use some basic fundamentals, math facts. And I believe we'll be pleasantly surprised at what they can do. Let's look at another problem. We have 352 plus 297 plus 684. We only have a minute left. Let's just try to do this in our head. All right, so we got 8 plus 3 is 11. 11, 14, 11, 22, 11, 22, and 13. 11, 22, 13. So you get 1, 3, 11, 22, 9, I think I said 13. So you get 3, 3. Let's check that. Let's check that. All right. So we get 352 plus 297 plus 684, and you get, there we go, we got that right. All right.